AEW Dynamite Big Business in the books as a show. And for the second straight week, I'd say it was very good. Very hectic show, certainly. Now, very enjoyable, have to agree. Now, unfortunately, you can't enjoy certain pro wrestling without some skeptics, and but that's the world we live in. Tribalism and everything. It's a shitty part of being a pro wrestling fan. Yeah. But big business for the second straight week was a fun show. Certainly. Now, will it show up in the ratings? Probably not. But we are in this world where ratings and everything, it's just ongoing all for, as far as just enjoying the show, it was a very enjoyable show for AEW Dynamite for second week in a row. It feels like they're picking up some pace, besides Mercedes coming in. If you look at the rest of what AEW big business was, what Samoa Joe, Wardlow, Ospreay, passionate promo, a solid main event between Willow and Riho. Now I think we can all say that should it have been the main event, you can argue. Now, it was a fun match, yes. But concerning Mercedes, concerning her influence starting to be coming in, she bookended the show. She started the show, she ended the show. And that was something because we had basically 3 women's segments on the show. We had Mercedes, we had the women's match, and then we had Deonna Purrazzo cut a quick backstage segment. So, talk about that influence, and, we know how good this women's roster is in AEW. It's just a matter of building around, getting some traction, and put some effort behind it. Because now with Mercedes, it's like, okay, Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, when they get back, Chris Statlander, Willow, Riho, when she's around, Deonna Purrazzo, Toni Storm, etc. I mean, Saraya D has made innuendos, teases about working with Mercedes Moné. Julie Hart, who we saw at the end of the show, Sky Blue, she's making improvements. You get the point. The women's division has traction, or should hopefully gain traction now, and it's certainly a fun one to see for AEW. Big business. Now, so Mercedes, before I get into the review. Now, next week also looks like a fun little build with Christian versus Adam Copeland, Okada, who was a hectic trios match, tonight in the start for Eddie Kingston. Faces Eddie Kingston next week for the Continental Crown. It's definitely built to be a fun show. And it seems like Tony Khan is starting to make Bill. But fun to see. So, yeah, let's get into review, shall we? Let's not waste too much time. But yeah, was a fun show. And we shall dive into review. One thing I will say is that the Jericho and Hulk match versus Gates of Agony, I'm not surprised that took the win out of some sales, but kind of how it was. So anyway, let's get into review, shall we? So, right away. So, they kicked it off with her and didn't waste any time. As Mercedes Mone, she started off AEW business. Now the theme, interesting. It's like a symphony type version remix with the terms which Oliver Hurry, CEO, and that's going to be her moniker, I guess, being the quote CEO of AEW. Now, first of all, she teased. First of all, she looks great. Definitely still has basis of Sasha Banks very much still in her, but Mercedes Moné was out there and she looked happy. She looked in a way refreshed or rejuvenated. Great for unfortunately, thank goodness you can do this with a TV. If you leave it on the channel, you can rewind it. I had to make sure. So, sadly, when I got back to my room, the thing cut. It was cut to her in the ring. I was like, oh crap, I gotta make sure I didn't miss anything. So, anyway, she made her entrance. She took it all in. And Boston was certainly thrilled to have her own. So, she mentioned how she's home, how she thanks all of her fans, trusted all you guys for being here for all her moments, for all ups and downs, for all her history-making moments, and them being there for her. Talked about a moment where she had to drop out of school to support her brother, and we didn't realize, I mean, it was probably not subtlety, but we kind of had the feeling with her being from Boston that her family was there at ringside, and that was joy to see. But she talked about her family, or most specifically her brother, talked about AEW talked about it being for a revolution, quote unquote. So she talked about the ladies in the back saying she can't wait to wrestle every one of them. And then we got subtle teases. So she talked about Willow and now, well, first she talked about the main event. And first I was confused. I think we are. Because we were presumptive that Samoa Joe and Wardlow would be the main event. And alas, it wasn't. She said Riho versus Willow would be the main event. So that took us by surprise, but then again, with Mercedes there, kind of feels there has to be a new paid attention to the women's division. You know, with Mercedes there, you have to pay more attention, because if not, she's gonna feel underwhelmed about her decision to be here, and that the ball's in Tony Khan's court. And the way it seems, you know, bookend, and then the main event, solid teases. She talked about Willow, saying they have unfinished business, and then another subtle tease. So listen. So we know Britt Baker's been out for a while. Last pay-per-view I believe she's on was Allin. And I saw an interview the other day, Tony Khan, Britt Baker, and Bryan Danielson did, that Tony Khan said Britt is getting closer and closer, or at least should be able to return soon. Now, how soon? I don't know. But we know when Britt does her signature line or outro, it's all DMD. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Well, so Mercedes, when she capped off her promo saying CEO, well, gesture, I mean, credit subtle, but it's something people harp on. And, you know, Britt tweeted, and we'll see how it goes, but she tweeted like this morning, you know, a gif of her doing, you know, the DMD. So, you know, who knows? But, I mean, clearly the theme music was interesting, yeah, used to. But then they tried back on, and it was like, okay, certainly makes sense with chants, CEO, they crowds buy into it. So I think I saw a thing that said that AEW viewership peaked at 1 million viewers during her segment, and then it kind of teetered off. Kind of I think we can say not surprised. First time AEW's, I guess, had 1 million viewers for a long time. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if kind of the inflation was that the world title match was not happened after. It was not the main event. So I can understand that being one point. I mean, again, it wasn't perfect, but it was certainly a fun show. Fun to see and fun. Yeah. But Mercedes, we know the drill. Her being in, her being refreshed. Whether I hate the term game changer, I really do. I hate it. Because then it puts expectations. But, look. At the end of the day, she's one of the best women's and females wrestlers in the world. She garners attention. I'm not saying viewership or anything like that. I'm just saying she's one of the best. And adding to a stacked women's roster, like I said, creative, balls in Tony Khan's court. We'll see how it goes from here, but great to see her nonetheless in AEW and seeing her happy. It was funny to see how Trinity and Bailey kind of sneaked their way in trying to be incognito. Obviously, fans were going to be annoyed about everything, but nonetheless, it is what it is. So then, Samoa Joe was backstage. He was with Renee Paquette. Renee talked about the happenings, talked about Wardlow, talked about what's next, and Samoa Joe said blatantly he doesn't lose title matches in the Garden. Because they were in T Garden and fun to see. So first, we got a good little video as Adam Cole, which again, I hope Adam Cole, the new acquisitions have been fun, or are fun. But clearly we miss Adam Cole in the ring. So, hopefully he's back better than healthy. So, talked about a story of Wardlow conquering all, and the final chapter, him being AEW World Champion, saying the end. And then we got a fun match between Samoa Joe and Wardlow. Again, I get it. Yes, I wasn't too thrilled about it not main eventing the show. The ending, I have to say, was the way they handled it at the end. I'm not so sure. So, the match here was fun. I was worried though they were going to be booking themselves with. See, the thing is, odds are if a big match is not main eventing the show, odds are when both guys have momentum, it's not going to be a clean victory. And so we were worried that it may be a draw, perhaps. But then again, it's a championship match, so I don't know. And you have a lot to go through on the card, but that was not the case. Nonetheless, it was a fun match. So, one of the best spots, Small Joe, from Ring of Honor to TNA to WWE to now AEW. One of the best spots you'll ever see. So, you know when a high flyer or someone in general is going for something like a dive or whatever, Samoa Joe has that spot where he just walks away. And Wardlow kind of outsmarted him. I think first time I've seen someone outsmart Samoa Joe when it comes to this spot ever. So Wardlow was about to come off the top rope, and then he faded Joe. Joe looked like he was going to walk away, and then he turned around and Wardlow hit him with a big shoulder tackle or shoulder block off the top rope for a near fall. They were exchanging, falling up, and then Wardlow off the ropes was hit with a big snap power slam by Joe for near fall. Wardlow, he feigned a knee injury. So, and then allowed him to take advantage against Samoa Joe. Joe was then on the top rope, and Wardlow hit the casualty of war. He hit the big knee strike, and only for a near fall. So then Wardlow went for a senton but missed. Joe went for 10 punches in the corner, but Wardlow, I get it. Samoa Joe's a big guy, but more so like he dropped him for a powerbomb instead of actually a powerbomb out of the corner. But nonetheless, he connected, and then looked like he went for another big powerbomb, but Joe fought out of it, and then walked in a big sleeper with hooks in, and with the guy as big as Samoa Joe on your back with hooks in, you're not going to get out for much long. So Wardlow passed out, and that was it. Now, I think we're all on the assumption that Swerve was going to have something to do with this match, perhaps during, to cost Wardlow the match. And that was not the case. He did show up, but not till afterwards with Shane and, officials and stuff trying to block him. And then Swerve got in the ring. He was irate as Samoa Joe scurried off, and there's that. After he fought off some official. Funniest thing of the segment, there was a official, hence one of the security guys, getting beaten up, tried to look like he was out on the stage, but then Samoa Joe came across him and kicked him off the stage. Now, that is obviously a gif, whatever, meme, whatever you want to say. Hilarious. Now, as far as Wardlow, this ending, it is pretty much clean. Yes, he passed out, but it was fairly clean. And when it's not in the main event, you kind of have a feeling that something's going to be up. And that was not the case. And they went right to Swerve and Samoa Joe. Now, with the way it looks, it's going to be Samoa Joe for Swerve at Dynasty for the AEW World Championship, and perhaps there's where we crown Swerve. I love Joe, but it sucks. You can only crown one of them at the time, and Swerve and his momentum, and with Hangman being hurt or suspended, quote unquote, it sucks. But yeah, it seems like we crown Swerve at Dynasty. As far as Wardlow goes, it's weird because it keeps creeping in your thoughts how AEW is not so great with big guys, and Wardlow, with the way he looked, was not great. Now, we know Wardlow is not a permanent member, long-lasting member in the Undisputed Kingdom. And we know the dilemma is that Wardlow is going to win the AEW World title and hand it to Adam Cole. At least that's what he said. Or he has stated multiple times. Could this lead, I'm speculating, but could this lead to dissension, a bit of dissension in the Undisputed Kingdom where they're not totally thrilled with Wardlow, because he missed his chance. Now, the Undisputed Kingdom, no one was out there, which was kind of strange, but we'll see. All you're hoping for is they make a story out of it. That's all you're hoping for. So we'll see. So, yeah. So, next up. Funny, two Okada and Young Bucks things. So, first of all, happy belated happy birthday to Matthew Jackson. Yeah. So, and so the Young Bucks were backstage with Alex Marvez and Okada chimed in. Said in English that he told Pac, Eddie, and Penta that they're all coming, or he's coming for them. There you go. So then he said, anyway, he told Marvez to wish Matthew a happy birthday. So then he told Matthew happy birthday, and Okada was like, no, sing it. So then Alex Marvez was singing happy birthday to Matthew Jackson. Hilarious. Again, we know Okada's English is not great, but we can tell for a little bit, it seems like he's getting a bit better, or better. So, this is funny. Okada being heel, so far, fun, to say the least. So then we got the trios match. I will say the lining up of this card was definitely unique. Yeah. But this was a fun match. Pace, high flying. Pac, great to see him back. Again, his first match back. And he looked refreshed. By the way, thoughts out to Justin Roberts, as if you look on his I want to say, but I think his mother had surgery or something. If you follow him on social, that's why he was there, but seems to be in good graces. Hopefully everything was okay. So yeah, thoughts out with both of them on speed recovery. Dasha felt nicely, but you know, we love Justin Roberts. So match good, and I like how they play in the coin drop by Matthew into the music playing of Okada. It's fun. Hectic. So they kept building and building Kingston and Okada, but you know, already got a number of matches lined up in here. Okada versus Penta, Okada versus Pac, Okada versus Kingston. There we go. Which, by the way, is happening next week for the Continental Crown. So, Pac and Penta both took their turns with hot tags, as Pac went rough shot. They hit serial topes, and then a big 450 after a foot stomp by Penta for near fall. Kingston and Okada, they were in at the end, and you know, exchanges, and referee was getting distracted. You know, that's the thing with these multi-man tag matches in AEW. Can be difficult to find out who the legal man is, especially in the Young Bucks match. So, in the end, so the referee was distracted. Nick hit a low blow on Eddie. Okada landed a Rainmaker on Eddie for the win. And Okada beat the Kano Crown Champion. And we'll face him next week. Now, first of all, I think we can all agree that champions should not be losing on TV. Not all bouts can agree. B. Penta, really. I mean, I'm nitpicking, but yeah, Penta taking the win from Okada, or pin from Okada, would certainly look better. I mean, Pac's not going to be pinned, his first match back. The other thing, so Okada versus Eddie. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. So, Okada's not going to be losing this early into his AEW run. So, they're not doing that Dynasty. Yeah. So, in all likelihood, Okada is going to be a new Continental Champion or Crown next week. So then, a gripe people are going to have, and I get it. We have the rankings back. And this kind of AEW's fault because they morphed the men's division into all 4 titles. Okada has not had a singles match in his young run as an AEW talent. He's not even ranked. But because this a quote-unquote championship eliminator match and the fact that Okada beat Eddie Kingston, now he's going to face him for the title next week. And Okada's going to be the new Continental Crown Champion, but he's not ranked. So I get it, but I get it for Okada because it opens the door for, him to face Omega again when Omega time is right. And a flurry of matches to make that title or Continental Crown more prestigious in a way. So, one end, I get it, but the other end, yeah. So, then we got a little promo for Cup vs. Christian Part 3 next week. I Quit match should be fun. Yeah. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait. Will Ospreay, who may be the most over guy, which, by the way, Mercedes Moné saved the Tea Garden as apparently she was at the Celtics Suns game and they showed her, had an advertisement. It was fun. Good to see. So, long run, people. Will Ospreay, who's probably the most over guy, I would say, in AEW right now. Tough to say, but with the reactions he's been getting, it's great to see. It's now a bit surreal. But yeah, Ospreay, he was out there with Tony Schiavone, say on the menu that he wants to talk in front of the great fans of Boston. So he talked about his match, talked about what's been going over and said with Bryan Danielson, said he's wanted to follow in Bryan's path. You know, they're right, whether it's been Japan or on the Indies, you know, he's done right. And people have called him, you know, greatest tech wrestler in the world. And funny, through all this, we got bruv chants, you know, bruv chants. It was hilarious. So, after Tony or Will Ospreay noted something that has followed them since AEW and how this match has been important or so important to him. But the saying that's been following around him since he's been here is restore the feeling. And he took the microphone from Schiavone and said, bruv, I am the feeling. So he talked about how much this match means to him on April 21st. And he knows that when Bryan steps in the ring and contrasts the respect he has for his opponent, but when that bell rings, it's his life or the others, and he doesn't plan on dying, bruv. So he talked about match set to prove who's the best wrestler in the world, and says it's him, he's Will Ospreay, and he's on another level. Ospreay, passionate, great to see, and yeah, Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. AEW Dynasty. Yeah. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Deonna Purrazzo. So, yeah, I mentioned there were 3 women's segments on the show. So, Deonna talked about how she's not done with Toni Storm and Mariah May. Talked about especially after she's tapped Toni out and after she got DT'd on stage by Mariah May. Said this nowhere near done. Said that she has challenged Mariah May and Toni Storm to a tag team match with a partner. And this is interesting. This is interesting because we know the history they brung up in the feud with Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. Now, thing we also know is the relationship between Britt Baker and Toni Storm. Now I mentioned Tony Khan mentioned that Britt Baker is close to recovery, or soon to recovery, and returning. Again, we'll see. I don't know, but it's definitely possible for Britt Baker make a return, teaming with Deonna Purrazzo versus Storm and Mariah May. Yeah, we'll see. Jay White versus Darby Allin. This was entertaining. Need we remind you that Darby Allin is going to be flying March 27th, less than 2 weeks away, to climb on Mount Everest. And he had one hell of a beating here against Jay White and Bullet Club Gold. But what the big point we can agree is what happened after the match. And the match was fun. So Darby, we can tell, is so very beaten up after spot he had in Sting's last match. He had sent on to the outside on Jay White. Jay White tossed Darby a few times on the outside, first over his steps, then learned against the chair, against the barricade. Brutal stuff for Darby. So Darby back in the ring. Got some offense back, hit a stunner out of nowhere on White. Went for a sunset flip, got a near fall. Then a last supper, didn't get the job done. White would fall with a Uranagi for a near fall. White looked like he went for a suplex back in the ring. Darby countered with a Scorpion Death Drop, which White landed on the top of his head, so notice that. So Darby went for a coffin drop, but Darby, so Jay White scurried towards the apron because he knew Darby would take the bait. This is why I said before, Darby is slated to climb Mount Fly in 2 weeks. Anyway, so Darby took the bait. He went for the coffin drop, landed on the apron, no Jay White, and he was down for a 9 count. I legitimately thought Darby's going to get counted out. But how we see a lot of times is the wrestler waits till 9 and they have a flurry back in the ring. Darby back in the ring, quit Blade Runner by Jay White, all enough for the win. So there you go. Jay White gets the win. The Guns are out to celebrate. So Jay White looked like he was going to congratulate Darby and show respect. as Darby was on his knees. So they clapped for Darby. And pointed out his hand for Darby to shake. But then, in one fell swoop, they did not shake hands, and the Guns attacked Darby, and we've been waiting for Bullet Club Gold to be back where they were, and they attacked Darby. They had a chair wrapped around Darby's ankle, and the Acclaim came out of nowhere to stop this madness, try to talk sense in everyone. So the Acclaimed were looking like they were helping Darby to the back. And then Bill Gunn was trying to talk sense into Jay White. And then all of a sudden, Jay White takes a chair, smacks it over Billy Gunn's head in front of his sons. And then the Acclaimed were distraught, and then the beatdown ensues, and the end of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and Bullet Club Gold back being heels. It's great to see. Great to see. And they still got the beatdown on Darby and had bat to Darby's ankle wrapped in a chair. So that's his send-off for now. His last match until Mount Everest. Hopefully Darby gets back in one piece. I think we can all agree. Hopefully Darby gets back from Mount Everest in one piece. Please, Darby, please. Just get back in one piece, please. Thank you. And but yeah, Bullet Club Gold back to being heels. Right decision. And Dynasty, a month away. Perhaps we do get this match at Dynasty that we thought we were going to get at Revolution. It's possible. It's possible. Because the Acclaim have done nothing with the trio styles. Nothing. Sadly, of importance. And Bullet Club Gold could certainly make those titles feel important. Certainly could. Or the Guns could enter the tag team tournament as well. We'll see. But yeah, I do miss Juice Robinson. Chris Jericho and Hook for Gates of Agony. Wasn't much here. Sadly, after the fun stuff, this kind of felt like a calm down match. It's just with the beef and whatnot going into this match is not as substantial as the rest of the stuff that was on the card. At least the main event was fun, but yeah, between the ladies. But it feels like in this state, it's like they think Jericho is trying to latch himself on a hook. And in their ways, they think Hook is looking better because of this. Give or take, we're getting Hook for Chris Jericho next week. We'll see. But is this alright? Hook got his offense in. Saved the day. Landed a big overhead. Red Rum on Khan for the win. And they got the win. Who's there? Afterwards, we got Kyle O'Reilly for the second straight week. So weird seeing him with backstage. So it's so weird seeing him with long hair. So that's about what's been going on here in AEW. What he thinks. Talked about how he said he never thought he'd be back in AEW again, wrestling, and how he never thought he could hold his daughter again. But went about how back his first official match, he's talking about someone that he's had his eye on, bounty hunter Brian Keith. Goes 1-1 with him on Collision, his first match back. And then we heard Kyle as Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. So yeah, you know. So he said he respects his decision and will be pulling for him. So, and then it dawned on Kyle, it was like, he's going to be doing it on his own. So, yeah. Kyle O'Reilly's first match back on Collision against Brian Keith. See, but clearly they're building this storyline for Kyle O'Reilly and the Kingdom. The Undisputed Kingdom. So, yeah. Chris Jericho and Hook, they were backstage. Jericho talked about how he learned a lot next to Hook, but he has not learned as much as he wants to across from Hook. So he challenged him to a match next week. Hook versus Jericho for his first time ever. And Hook said, let's do it. So there you go. Hook versus Jericho next week. Willow Nightingale versus Riho. Solid match to end the show. Again, we can agree. It was confusing as to why it was the main event, but consider Mercedes, I think we can understand. In any event, this was a good match between the two. So, Riho, she is 619, followed diving crossbody for near fall. Willow went for the Dr. Bomb, but Riho countered to a roll-up for near fall. Big Northern Lights by Riho for near fall. Pound by Willow, but Riho followed up with a dragon suplex on the apron, and then a diving foot stomp for near fall. Willow, she landed a big lariat. Riho went for a roll, but for a 2. And then finally, after counter back and forth, Dr. Bomb by Willow for the win. Now, before Mercedes came out, I was like, okay, well, Willow wants the TBS Championship. This dynamic with Chris Statlander, Stokely. How is this going to unfold? So the lights went out. Julia Hart and Sky Blue attacked Willow. So that was one. Then Mercedes Mone chimed out and made the save and decked Sky Blue and had an exchange with Julia Hart, and that was it. Willow raised her arm, and yeah, they celebrated. Yeah, cool there. So some teases already for potential feuds for Mercedes. We'll have to see it. But yeah, good to see. All year all before is it builds towards the long run and continues. 2 very good AEW Dynamites in a row. Next week is lining up to be very good as well. Let's keep the momentum rolling. But anyways, guys, solid Dynamite, like I said, 2 in a row. Let's keep it going. AEW. Mercedes All Elite. Nonetheless, so next week, we hear from Mercedes, Hulk vs. Jericho, Cope vs. Christian Part 3 for the TNT Championship I Quit match, and Okada vs. Eddie Kingston for the Continental Crown. So, fun stuff gearing towards next week. So pay attention, guys. Thank you guys all. Be safe. See you guys next time. I made Joe Tour and Love. Like, subscribe. Peace.